town council meeting agenda for Thursday, January 11th, 2024 is now in session. Janelle, would you take the vote? Roll call.
Councilmember Barker? Here. Councilmember Brown? Here. Councilmember Smith?
Here.
Mayor Michelson?
Here. You stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I would like to, if anybody has any public comments on anything not on the agenda tonight, not on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of minutes. A, special town council meeting minutes of 11/9/2023. Councilmember Barker,
I'd like to make a motion for approval of special town council meeting minutes from 11/29/2023.
we have a motion, do we have a second? We have a second, Councilmember Brown. Discussion? Any comments from the public on the town council meeting minutes of 11/29/23? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown? Aye. Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
And that's it.
Motion passes 3-0. Item number B, town council meeting minutes of 12/14/2023. Councilmember Barker,
I make a motion to approve town council meeting minutes from 12/14/2023.
Second.
we have a motion, we have a second. We have a discussion?
Did you have some? I think I found one very minor, and that was on page 18. Doing with the council president, the vote showing 3-0, should have been 2-0 and one abstention.
Okay, I will look at that.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, is there any other discussion? Any discussion from the public on the town council meeting minutes of 12/14/2023? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown? Aye. And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Approval of biweekly claims. Councilmember Barker,
I make a motion for approval of biweekly claims number 18732, 18741, 1872, 18762. These claims were paid out of cycle due to the Christmas holiday.
is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Discussion? No discussion? Any comments on the public from claims 18732 to 18762? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown? Aye. Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Item number B. Claims 18732 to 18778.
I'll make a motion that we accept 18732 and 18763 through -18778.
Councilmember Barker?
I'll second the motion. I just have a question though. We just approved claim number 18732 on the prior.
Nope, that's true.
Yes, and we actually, we're supposed to get paid $18,000 from the state, and we haven't received that money yet. So I won't release the claim until we receive the money from the state. So we actually get reimbursed for that amount. And because we haven't been paid, I'm gonna hold the claim until we get paid. So it might come up on the next batch of claims as well.
So are you saying that we need to hold that one out and not approve that particular claim.
No, it should be approved. We're just waiting to get paid from the state, that's all. And, so,
Pass-through.
Okay.
yeah, it's a pass-through is what it is.
Okay.
Okay, do we have did you make a second on that? Okay. Discussion from the council? Councilmember Brown?
You see, we have quite a few things going to GoDaddy, and are we getting closer to getting onto the state?
So .gov closed down their admittance of taking on new projects in October. We weren't informed of that until like mid-November. And so they will send out a special email is what they're saying at sometime within January of 2024 for us to not start the process back up, but just complete where we left off in October.
Okay,
So it's all on their end this time. We have everything's in from us. We have everything laid out. We've been
It's just
going through just a
unbelievable process.
never knew it was gonna take this long.
okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Any discussion from the public on claims minus 8732, 18763, 18778? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Counselor Barker,
Aye.
Counselor Brown.
Aye.
Counselor Smith.
Administrative reports. The only one we have is Jeff, correct?
Don't we have Will?
Oh, we have last one, excuse me.
No,
And
Will.
Will.
Will and
I can see Will.
You go first if you want.
Sorry.
Who's first?
Airport first, letter A.
Let's see here, for January, we've got a couple of the airport board members that are up with their line items on the agenda for tonight, so we can talk about those later. We're working on redoing these old lease construction application permits from 13. As we've been going through this since September, I've noticed there's stuff in there that kind of contradicts what we're doing now. And the way the process should work, it's just getting kind of convoluted in some of the old leases. And there's a few things in here that, compared to the lease, really kind of curtail what we can do at the airport as a town for this inspections with things that are getting brought to my attention that aren't being done. So Janelle and I talked about this. I talked about it with the mayor once about trying to rework some of this to make it all a little more fluid, one document, and give us a little bit more legal standing where we can start correcting some issues. Because to do inspections up there now, I don't have a leg to stand on. It would be kind of a fight. So we get work through that. I'd like to have that in front of you guys by the 25th. If not, we can do it the first meeting of February if we get it all done. But I'd like to have that working before we go into the spring and start getting busier. I did work with two aides from Tester's office in December. They came out here, and the grants that we have available to Stevensville, $144,000 for the airport, the airport infrastructure bill. So now it's just working with the FAA to see what we can use it for. Some things are going to have matches, other things won't. We'll do work with the board. We'll put out a list of projects that we want to get done, see what we can use that money for, and bring it back to y'all. OSI is Optical Scientific was out here in December to do the annual inspection on the AWAS. This thing has been a problem for years. I started flying into Stevensville in 2008. It didn't work then. Still doesn't work now. It kept getting passed off by every other previous airport manager and nothing was done. It is a $3,630 fix. The radio up there doesn't work, doesn't transmit. So we need the new radio. It's computer generated voice, transmits the weather information. So nothing we budgeted for this year, but it is kind of an FAA compliance. We do have some money available in the AWAS portion of our budget. So I'll have to work with Bob and see what we can come up with there. Bring it back to y'all, see what we can do to fix it. And then the hangars there for tonight. we'll get to those as we get up to them.
Thanks, Will. Moving on to the fire department.
I don't think the report made in the packet. It may have.
We got it in front of them tonight.
Great, perfect. Anyway, month of December, we had 40 requests for service. We had 11 calls in the town, 29 in the district. 31 medical responses, 8 fire calls, and 1 motor vehicle crash is the total for the 40. So we ended the year at 675 requests for service. 251 of those within the town limits and 410 in the district. We had 14 requests for mutual aid and we had 2 calls that were missed. Medical responses were 535 and 107 fires. In the 33 motor vehicles. So that's kind of how the year ended. Pretty much on par with what we've been running annually over the last several years. So nothing really, out of the norm on there. So as we go into the new year, we're already at like call 34 or so. So that's kind of where we're at average, for a month, but only like halfway through it. So we'll see what really ends up there. Other than that, we've got a couple new members coming on. We have a little more business later on this evening we'll talk about. We're holding our own. Any questions? Great, thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. Public Works. Do you want to give a report, Steve, or you just?
I didn't really have anything other than usual until about an hour and a half ago. I did run down our back order water meters. They're available, and we can get every single one of them, I think. So I need to check the line item on the budget and make sure we have it. I'm pretty sure we do, but that's gonna keep us going for pretty longer than we thought that we could do on replacing these meters. I was talking about an hour and a half ago, and
Oh, okay.
told me that, so that's good.
So it looks good having some
Oh,
time
yeah.
in it.
Yeah, it's,
Okay,
it's a good thing.
okay, thanks, Steve. Yep. All right, we'll move on to unfinished business. A, discussion decision, approval of MR Asphalt as the lowest bidder for the Spring Street project, scheduled 133. As the council knows, at the last town council meeting on December 14th, 2023, the town clerk opened bids for the Spring Street project, scheduled 133. MR Asphalt came in as the lowest bidder for the project. The town council agreed to have the bid reviewed by HDR Engineering to ensure that all the proper work was completed and turned in, which they did. And I think in your packet, there should be an award letter from them that came back, basically saying that everything is on the up and up, and we could go ahead and approve it and get the bid thing started. So if I can entertain a motion from the council? Councilmember Brown?
I move that we approve the MR Asphalt for Spring Street project schedules, 1 through 3.
Okay, is there a second? Councilmember Barton?
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second to approve the MR Asphalt as the lowest bidder. Council discussion?
So this was everything that was presented the night of them coming in.
That is
Okay.
correct. This is the same thing that was presented, and then what we did is we forwarded it over to them, and they reviewed it, and they put a blessing on it, and then they brought it back to us to be for final approval to start the project in June. I will add that I thought was interesting, if you look at the MR Asphalt side of it, traffic control, if you add up to 22,600 and all the other ones, it comes up to over $50,000 just for traffic control on Spring Street, which I thought is pretty bizarre. Whatever traffic control is, I don't know, but that's a lot of money for just traffic control for one street.
We have two ends of it. school, it's on school route.
Right.
School
I get
route
that,
as
yeah.
well, so you've got to figure in all
Mhm.
those type of
But I
aspects.
think screws out in June, though. That's
Those
when
are
they start.
after.
Oh, then I don't know why.
Okay, is there any comments from the public on this agenda item? Any further comments from the council? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Item number B under unfinished business, discussion decision, approval of Spring Street project schedules 1, 2, 3 as first priority for House Bill 355. So what happened there is after that meeting, we got together and we started crunching the numbers, and Gina came up with the idea that we could better spend our money from the $144,000 out of the House Bill 355. So we crunched the numbers, and sure enough, we could better match money with the match using this instead of the other project. So.
Instead of the Railroad Street.
Yep. And so that's what we did. We checked into it, we can do that, and lo and behold, I think you guys got an email that Gina put together the whole thing, the application, she got it turned in, it was accepted, so we're good to go there. So, this here is.
So
just-
is Railroad Street, are we just gonna put Railroad Street then off to the side for now until,
Well, one thing at a time, it's gonna come back.
Right.
Right.
right?
No, it's gonna get done, it's just a different.
And make a motion for the approval of Spring Street project schedule 1 through 3 as first priority for House Bill 355.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Go ahead.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Brown, discussion by the council. Do we have any discussion from the public on the approval of Spring Street schedules 1 through 3 as the first priority? And from the council, seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown? Aye. And Councilmember Smith?
Motion passes 3-0. New business. Item A, discussion decision, consent to the mayor's appointment of Levi Weiss as the assistant fire chief. Do I have a motion? Councilmember
I
Barker.
make a motion for the consent to the mayor's appointment of Levi Weiss Weiss as the assistant fire chief. Can't speak.
Do we have a second? Been a motion and seconded by Mr. Wallace. Discussion. Discussion from the public. Mr. Motley.
So I forwarded Levi's name to the mayor for the consideration for the position of the assistant fire chief since Mr. Anderson resigned from that position after helping. And Levi said, yeah, he would fill that position and he'd be good with that. So Levi is going to be the town assistant chief, and it's also going to be the district assistant chief. He's going to fill both assistant chief roles, as they're both vacant. I think it's going to be a great move for the town and the district to have that individual filling both of those positions. It's going to help bring some continuity back to both of the departments as we work together going forward. He brings a lot of experience and time, and his temperament and personality, I think, will fit that position quite well nicely for us. So that's what I wanted. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Any more discussion from the council? Seeing none?
Just
Janelle, would you
impressed
take-
with his experience at what I've read.
Okay. Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Item number B.
Levi is here tonight. You guys want to do. Neither do I, also.
Congratulations. Dave.
Maybe you should come to the podium.
All right, item number B. Discussion decision, consent to the mayor's appointment of Craig Thomas to the airport board. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion for the consent to the mayor's appointment to Craig Thomas to the airport board.
There's a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Brown. Discussion?
Does he happen to be here?
Craig, he's not here.
I would like to point out that in Craig's application, he did put airport manager, but we changed that to here because the council doesn't pick the board chairmen, the boards pick their own chairman. So just thought I'd lay that out there. Is there any public comments on the appointment of Craig Thomas? None from the council? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Item number C, discussion decision, consent to the mayor's appointment of John Stratton to the airport board. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion for the consent of the mayor's appointment of John Stratton to the airport board.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, do we have a discussion from the council? Do we have a discussion from the public? None from the council, seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Item number D, discussion decision, Stephenville Airport lease block numbers 6, lot 6. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Brown.
I would like to move that we table this item. I do not remember that the airport board approved this lease. So I'd like the council to table this until it goes through the airport board.
Okay, then I guess we'll need a second on that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Yes, so we have a motion and a second to table this item and take it back to the airport board for consideration to bring it back to the council.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any discussion from the public? None from the council? And I will say that, oh, go ahead, Brad.
Public, but part of that was my fault for not getting it labeled right on the airport, or the last airport board meeting that we had. So it was kind of my fault for not getting it put on there correctly. And that also ties back into the packets we talked about with the resolution. So it makes it pretty tough to go back and forth between myself, the mayor, to the board, to the council, when really the airport board doesn't have any control of leases, and that's between the council, the mayor, myself, Janelle. It's my job to make sure it's aviation activity, so it's kind of one of the things we're like to clean up and change, so it doesn't take 2 months to get a lease up there, because it's killing us.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will. No more discussion from the public? Any further discussion from the council? None from the council? Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0 to take it back to the airport board. Item number E, discussion decision, Stephenville Airport lease transfer and hangar transfer for block 2, lot 10. And there's no supporting documentation, but I think Will's gonna get up and give us the skinny.
The block 2, lot 10 is a Museum of Mountain Flying hangar. It's currently up there. They've decided to sell that. I don't know if they're planning on building a different hangar at the airport or if they're leaving Stevensville. Nothing's really come out and said that they've sold the hangar. They have a buyer. The buyer, Jim, had reached out to me because he needs to lease a signed lease before he can use the bank to get money, so they can fulfill this to buy it. The bank won't give him the money to do the buy sell until they know he has a lease. So that's where we're at. This one was in front of the board at the last meeting, so. Yeah. So we're at Loudon.
Thank you.
So we have a motion.
Do we not have a motion?
No.
Oh. I make a motion for the Stevensville Airport land lease transfer and hangar transfer for lot 10.
We have a motion, do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember Brown. Discussion from the council. Councilmember Brown.
I would just like to ask that, Will, would you double check the fees on that lease? Because I know that they were giving Museum of Flight a discount on their lease, so.
They were.
Thank
They
you.
were until September, because that was a dark smoke-filled room handshake deal with a previous airport manager that said, oh, you only have to pay half your user fees. Well, that didn't happen this year. They got a little mad about it, but too bad. Fee's the fee. You're gonna be here, you're gonna use it, it's what you're gonna pay. It's the airport's pay to play. You're gonna pay, you don't play. One thing I did notice on these two, the hangar transfers and stuff, really, and the lease transfer, it's not a transfer. This is a new 20-year lease. We're not transferring any of these old 6-cent leases. They're signing a new 20-year lease at 14 cents. Well, we're not doing that. 19 years, and now I transfer it to my buddy, and I stay in here for another 20 years at 6 cents. We put an end to that this year too. So these are new leases, not transfers.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion from the council?
That sounded pretty good.
And more from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Item F, discussion decision, approval of Matthew Wilkinson as the new Public Works Assistant. So Matthew, he works at the local hardware store here. His dad is Jeff, who works for the town, Public Works. And Gina and I and Steve, we interviewed him, and we thought he was a good candidate as an entry-level position to start work down there. There's an opening, this is budgeted for, it was in the budget, so that's all good there. We think he would be a good addition to the town of Stevens. And I'd just like to point out that it's at $18 an hour starting out. And after he gets his CDL, he will give it $1 an hour, more like all the other entry level people that come in. So with that, could I get a motion? Councilmember Barker?
I make a motion for approval of Matthew Wilkinson as the new Public Works Assistant.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second by Councilmember Wallace to approve
Mr.
Matthew
Smith.
Wilkinson as the new Public Works Assistant.
Can I see Mr. Smith?
No.
Close enough.
Councilmember Brown?
Did you say that his dad works for the town also?
Yes, Jeff.
Do we have a nepotism problem here that we need to address?
Actually, that came up in the interview. I asked that question if there was going to be any issues with him working with his dad, whether it's down there or if they were going to take it home. And he did not feel that there was going to be an issue. And then at our last staff meeting last week, I brought that question up to his father. So I think we're pretty good to go.
And it's gone through HR and everything with Gina, okay, so she's aware. Okay.
And also, he wouldn't be working directly for Jeff, so wasn't in the equals, working on the public works department, so nepotism, you can't work for a direct relative or anything like that, so I'm not his relative.
Okay.
We don't see a problem with that.
He wouldn't be in the direction.
There would never be,
And that was my question, so that's.
yeah, there wouldn't, I can't think of a scenario where there would be one of them above the other.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments from the council? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown. Aye. And Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Item number G, discussion decision, approved contract offer between the town of Stephenville and the park supervisor, public works assistant. So when I first, my first day in office, was pretty much landed on my desk. And there was some contention there among some employees. And I won't get into all that, but I will get into that. This is a contract. This was a contract that was not brought before the council. As we all know, all contracts must be approved by the town council. And that's one of the reasons I brought it back up here. And number two, let's see here. Public Works Supervisor, or Park Supervisor, Public Works Assistant position, no one employee can hold two job titles, two separate job titles. So if you were to accept that, you would have to rework that also. And also, I'll go to my other notes here. I will say that I did receive an email from our attorney Greg Overstreet here, and he said that if we were to not approve this contract, that there could be a liability issue. And although I do not know what the liability claim issue is, so I went looking, and I looked in our personnel policy manual, and under Page 4, Section 3, Authority for Personal Action, the town of Stephenville reserves the right to direct, hire, promote, transfer, assign, and retain employees. The town of Stephenville also reserves the right to supervise, discipline, and relieve employees from their duties for any reason determined sufficient by the town. Stephenville, as well as other policy, practice, rules, regulations that may be established, changed, or abolished with the sole discretion of the town of Stephenville. The mayor and his or her designee will execute personal actions at their discretion with consultation and or consent from the human resources representative, clerk, town attorney when necessary, and consistent with all applicable laws, regulations of this policy. And the employee needs to be told that this job was recreated, and it was created with a contract, with an offer. That didn't come before the council, that's why it's here. Number two, you can't have two, as we know, you can't have two job descriptions for one employee. And the town has the right, which they did, to create this position, which was done. And the town also has the right, which you do, to take away a position without retribution or saying that, you know, if you take away this position with the salary that he got, the $450, $1 more, then the town has a right to say, you know, we're reducing our force, so we're just abolishing this position. It's in our personnel policy. So I don't quite get what the real liability would be. And also the $450 was not in the budget, although I think, and Mayor Gibson will probably get up and talk about this, that in the budget, the park supervisor job was in there. And Cody's job was in there also. So when Mr. Cruz resigned and Mr. Lassiter took his position, and I just could be wrong on this, but I don't think so. I think that's what they did, is they said, okay, because it was a budget and it was a crunch, budget was tight. I think they said, we'll combine these two positions and we'll pay Mr. Anderson $4.50 more for this, to do this, and he would basically cover both those jobs. That, Steve Menke will get up there and he could talk about that, but that's, it just looks to me like that's what happened. With that, could I entertain a motion to approve the contract offer between the town of Stephenville and Park Supervisor and Public Works Assistant? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to approve the contract offer between the town of Stevensville and the park supervisor / public works assistant position.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Wallace. Discussion from the council.
My biggest thing is, we approved a budget. We also approved our wages, and those were not within the wages that we approved. To create a job and to give somebody a $4.50 hour raise, I feel is very wrong. We're fighting to keep our police officers who didn't even get that, let alone give a town employee something else. I don't feel it was right to not be brought to the council saying, hey, this is what our considerations are. It was drawn up as a contract. Again, like you said, contracts do have to come in front of the council, and it was not brought in front of the council until tonight. A lot of failure on both parts.
Any other discussion for the council?
I would like to know, on park supervisor, who would he be supervising?
Me being on the former council, all I can think just the top of my head would be, go ahead.
Seasonals, for one thing, seasonals in the summer. Lifeguards at the pool. I hear what you're saying on the money part. I kind of got it's not really a contract, it was an offer letter. And we all got offer letters, so it's not like he's a contracted employee, he's a town employee. So I don't know if the word contract really applies unless it's interchangeable with offer letter. I don't think in this case it is, but. So when I took cruises, Cody took mine, and we both took those for less money. So the money, even though it wasn't the same people involved in the job, the money was there. And I should have been making less. So in the short run here, the town's saving a little bit. I'm $4 less than cruise, I think. Cody's like $1.50 less than me. So kind of is there. Regardless of how we got here, or if it was done properly, or whatever. I ask you to just realize Cody's a valued employee, he's an asset of this town, and I don't think he should bear any burden for anything that happened that he had no control over. Think about that, in his, think about that maybe when you make your vote.
Councilmember Barker?
I appreciate your input on it. The problem is we're not giving somebody else an opportunity to be able to fill that other park's position. We combine that together. I understand you say you're saving money,
Right.
but to give out somebody else an opportunity for that position.
It was advertised in-house, which is in the code.
It was advertised in-house.
It was advertised in-house, anybody could have in-house applied for it. And he did, and felt like he was qualified for it, and I will say, he's really stepped up. Since he's had this, he's changed, so he's up, he's become more a leader than he was before. Even with the new guy with Jeff, he'll be the same way with Matt, I'm sure. He's taking time, he's training, he's showing people how to do what he does, which they need to be able to do too. And I see a change in his personality, he's really stepped up. He's doing his best to earn it.
I think it's just caused a lot of contention.
Yeah,
Obviously, we're fighting to keep our police officers, and then for somebody to come in and say, I just got a $4, here,
Yeah.
$4.50 out. raise.
Yeah, and that's
It
another
makes
thing.
it makes it tough. to-
I know, and it's, it's 450 raise, I kind of, just like the contract word, I don't think that is really right, because it's an offer letter, we all got offer letters. And also to use the word raise, yes, he's making more money, but he's making a salary commensurate with that position. So if I were to leave here and go to Hamilton and be the public works director, I'd make more money. Well, is that a raise? It's a raise, yes, but it's not a raise as most people would define it. It's not like he's doing the same thing and got a huge raise for it. He also got more responsibility along with it, so. Yeah, it's more money, yes, but you can't argue that, but I don't, kind of disagree with the term raise as opposed to what the position pays. That's what it pays. And actually paying less than what it was when I had it.
So does he have certifications that he will have to gain as well? with
Yeah,
those?
certified pool operator is one, would be his main one that he'll be going for, like I had to get. And that just comes with being in charge of the pool, lifeguards. As well as he's still working on his wastewater permits and all that. So he's got a lot of study and he's already started some of it. So he's taking it seriously.
With these certifications and all, like the other gentleman we just hired, are there raises that go with like a CDL or anything like that? That's with this job as well?
I believe it's, once you get a CDO, you get $1 an hour raise, right? It's Matthew did.
Uh-huh.
And he has his CDL already.
Okay.
So we're-
Are there any other certificates that would also have a raise with it?
I'd have to look at that offer letter again. I'm not sure if that was in, when he achieved his wastewater permit, there may be. There may be. I can't say for sure. But it, very well may be, and it probably should be, if it's not.
And I will add that if you were to approve this, then you would have to come back. You couldn't really officially approve it, I don't think, tonight unless you come back with a new job title. Because again, he can't have two job positions for one person. And being park supervisor and public works assistant is two job titles. And one employee cannot hold that.
That was one of my questions is there any way that if it gets approved, we can go back and recreate the job description? And then I would like to see it done. I know there's probably gray area here, and it's probably the way each individual reads and interprets the personnel policy, and other parts of the town ordinances, which I was reading, and the state. But I felt that we should have created the job position first, and then offered, and then made a decision. I just don't know how, if we can go backwards and recreate the will type of thing.
I believe as a counselor, you can do anything. You can go back and you can start over and redo the whole process with a new job title, new wage, new job description.
Because another thing we need to probably look at is, do we need to do a budget? Or you feel that we have the money in your budget? I would like that information from Gina, if it's,
I can get those for you. I can't do it right now, but I can get it for you.
thank you.
I mean, I think right now, we really need to think about, kind of where we're going and make sure that we are good stewards of town of Stevenson's money and make sure that, all of these things fit in the right area. And that's kind of what we're looking at, that's kind of what we've been talking about, to make sure that we can keep the employees that we have and be fair to everyone, so.
So. Any other discussion on this council? Any discussion from the public? Mr. Gibson?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Steve Gibson, 1517 Creekside Drive. I'll be brief. Steve Lassiter talked a little bit about it. First of all, I'm confused about the word contract. We do an offer letter to every employee. This is no different than the offer letter we did with Mr. Lassiter, with Gina. It's an offer letter. If it was a contract, as you'll see in the letter, you get benefits, you get all these other things. It's a town employee. If it was a contract, they wouldn't be getting benefits. It's not a contract. It's been done forever. The letter you have is an offer letter. As far as, again, the position as for personnel policy was opened in-house for 5 days. Anybody could have applied. You know, there's this consternation about a raise versus getting a job that's compensated at that salary. In regards to the job description, went to Mr. Lassiter. This actually saved the town money to do what he did when he was park supervisor, to make the job description depict what they really do. I think Mr. Lassiter could testify that when he was park supervisor, he did a lot of those things that are in that job description, but they weren't in the job description. They weren't spelled out. Anybody could have applied for this job. It's no different than when Mr. Cruz left, we posted in-house the Public Works Director. Steve Lassiter and Cody applied for that. Steve Lassiter were hired. Steve Lassiter is a department director. We went through this last August with Mr. Creed on a similar position. We consulted, Mr. Lassiter and I consulted with Mr. Overstreet about did this need to go to the council. Mr. Overstreet reviewed the statutes, he'd done it before, he said it did not. It is not a department head. You know, I'm not gonna get into the details, you can ask Mr. Overstreet if you want to, but I'm not gonna speak for him. But if he would have said, if the town attorney would have said, this is a problem, we would have stopped. But he did not. He said, move ahead. And I personally, when I was mayor, I listened to the licensed legal advice of my town attorney. A lot of people have opinions about statutes, and I've heard this even before I was here, like, this is illegal, this is illegal, this is illegal. I rely on the town attorney. Again, this was addressed back in August on a similar situation. That went away, but this has come back. In regards to salaries being approved, yes, they were all in the budget. The fact is, the number of the last employees that we hired, including the Public Works Director, the Chief of Police, Mr. Lassiter, the Park Supervisor, all of them have been hired at less money that was budgeted in the other salaries. Mr. Lassiter gets, I guess you could say he got a raise. He did get more money. He got more responsibility as a director. He got 28 bucks an hour. The former person was making 32 bucks an hour. In his offer letter, and Councilmember Brown, you asked that question when we approved his appointment. It says, water certification, certain amount of time, wastewater certification, certain amount of time, same thing, same thing. Wasn't an issue then. What we did, and again, we did consult with the attorney because there was some questions brought up. Does this need to go to the council? Mr. Lasser and I sat down with the town attorney. He said it did not. If you wish in the future, which it looks like you do, and that's fine. If you want to approve, have the council approve every position that's hired, that's your prerogative. I don't know if you want to go as far as 15-year-old lifeguards, seasonal employees, that's up to you. That's up to you. I personally don't feel, there was nothing shady here. There was nothing done, anything wrong. Actually, of all these combinations, if the person you just approved tonight made less money than what Cody was making in his position. Same thing. As I've always said, what I tried to do was best for all the people of Stevensville, not just a handful of people. Not just a handful of people. And in the personnel policy, it does say, and we did it before, and I think it's good business practice to allow your current employees an opportunity to apply for a job in-house. And yes, it was a promotion. It was a promotion. It wasn't a separate raise. Yes, it's more money. Mr. Lassiter got more money. He got less money than the last guy. Excuse me. So with that, I can take questions. If not, that's fine. Again, this contract is very confusing to me. It's a save, we offer this, we do an offer letter, it goes in the personnel file, even before me. Salary, that's an offer letter. If you read it closely, if it was a contract, there would be other language about, you're not gonna get it. It's a town employee. It's a town employee. It's no different than the letter we did with Mr. Lasser. It's no different than the letter we did with Gina. And on and on and on. Mayor Miles.
Yes, Steve. So you're stating that the park supervisor position that was separated before you combined these two was not a department?
I'm saying there was a park supervisor position.
But you said
Again,
it wasn't a department head.
he's not a department head. He works for him.
But you-
He's a department head. He's not a department head.
Before I worked for Cruise. So.
Just like he worked for
Right?
Steve Cruz. He wasn't a department head, no.
And I worked for Cruise.
Bobby was a department head.
Yeah.
And we changed all that.
Okay.
We changed all that. No, he is not a department head, and that's what we discussed with Mr. Overstreet.
And you still don't think that, according to the MCA salary of officers, the council shall determine by ordinance or resolution the salaries and compensation of elected and appointed city officers and city employees?
My opinion is the salaries are already approved because they're already in the budget. The fact is, they were less salary. We didn't know that Mr. Cruz was leaving. We didn't know that when we finalized the budget.
You said you discussed this in August, but the offer signed
Excuse me?
November 27th. You said earlier here that,
November 27th was Cody, yes.
right, you said it was
Cruz.
discussed in August.
Steve Cruz left November 17th.
Right.
The budget was passed before that. His salary at that time was $32 an hour. His salary was $28 an hour. That's my opinion. We talked to the attorney about this. The salaries did not change. They actually went down from the position that was there before. His salary went down $4 an hour from what Mr. Cruz made. The chief of police makes 10,000, I believe, less than Matt Sosa did because of his experience. So yes, my opinion, the salaries had already been approved in the budget.
Yeah, question.
Any other questions from the public? Questions from the council?
Did you say earlier regarding the liability that you had an email from the attorney?
Yes, I
Was,
did.
did you say that because it was a contract that's a liability?
Yes, the attorney said that it was a contract.
All right.
And there wasn't, that we were voting no, that there was a chance of electing. And identifying risk was his job, was his exact words.
If you don't mind, I am unable to describe what my legal advice was in a public setting. So
Right,
you guys can talk about it, but just
right.
so everybody knows, I can't say, oh, here's what the legal advice was. So I am being silent.
Any other comments from the council? Any from the public? Seeing none, Councilmember Brown.
I feel I really could use a little bit more information on this problem. I don't know about anything else, but I could use a little bit more information.
You want to table this item now?
I would like to withdraw my motion for the approval of the contract between the offer of the town of Stevensville and Park Supervisor Public Works Assistant position. Now with the motion, I'd like to table the motion.
But if you want to make a motion to withdraw it, then we have to have,
Second.
we have to have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to withdraw your original motion to accept the offer of Cody Anderson. And now,
Now, if we,
so now we're to take the vote.
Councilmember Barker,
I,
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
All right.
Motion passes 3-0. Now, Councilmember Barker, you can make that. Councilmember Barker?
I would like to table this, the contract offer between Town of Stevensville's Park Supervisor, Public Works Assistant position. Obviously, it's not a contract. But until we get more information on everything, can we set, would it be possible to have this ready by the next council meeting?
Yes, that depends on what you want. What would you like to do? Would you like to reword it? Would you like to change? One thing you're going to have to do if you do it, is that you're going to have to change the title, because you can't have two titles. We discussed that.
You certainly have, you worked that up, right?
Yeah, we could work it out, whatever you want to do, but we would have to.
I think we need to nail down the actual job description and just, so it's not confusing to Public Works, and let's just figure this out. Maybe if we can, at the next council meeting, maybe get the job description for this, maybe move items and do that first and then go to unfinished business. I would maybe like an opinion from MMIA on this, and what their feelings are on this. If it's a job offer or a contract, I would appreciate that.
Okay. Is there a second?
Stacy?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think we need to have more definition of what we have here. Obviously, we have rules that we have to follow, and I think it needs to be done properly.
So we have a motion, so we have a second.
What was the motion?
And a second, okay.
Motion is to table.
So to
Table? Oh, yes, okay.
And she made a motion to have it taken back, reworded, job description redone, one title and not two for one person, have it cleared to MMIA, have it reviewed by Greg, I'm assuming he's our town attorney, and then make sure that we have the money for it.
Yes, money.
And then to bring that back before the council.
And we probably have to move our agenda items a bit to do new business before unfinished business because of that, because this would be unfinished business.
Okay,
But yes, I would like to maybe try to clean this up a little bit before we give them further okay on it, or whatever council decides here.
okay. Is there public comments on this? On the second motion here to table it?
I'm just gonna say one more time, it's not a contract per se. It's the same thing we do with every position. It's an offer letter for a town position. That's all I have to say.
And I will say, in all my 8 years of local government, I've never seen a contract or an offer made up this way that came before.
I didn't put any words in there that said contract offer.
No, I'm not saying you did. I'm saying I've never in my 8 years have seen it done this way where an offer was made to an employee that was never brought before the council.
I have.
I'm just saying, that's just me. Any more comments from the public? Any more comments from the council? Seeing none, to now we take the vote.
Councilmember Barker?
I,
Councilmember Brown? Aye. And Councilmember Smith?
All right,
Motion passes 3-0. Item number 8, discussion decision, schedule a committee of the whole meeting, date, and time to review job descriptions. So, at my first staff meeting, I let all the employees know that I wanted them to review their job descriptions. And I wanted them to make changes that they thought they needed to do. And one of the examples, and I bring it up many times, is Janelle's been doing fingerprinting forever. And it's a good revenue for the town. And she was doing that when she was a police clerk, and she carried that over so when she's a clerk down. So if she wants to add that to her job description, that's an example. Or if he has stuff down there with his workers that they like to add or take out, that's no longer, because a lot of these job descriptions haven't been updated since 2018. So that's where we're at. So this is your meeting. You guys set the time, you guys set the date.
that's supposed to be up to you two ladies.
But let's have a motion first, please. For the discussion decision. Could I have a motion?
I make the motion to schedule a CAL meeting, date and time review, job descriptions.
Do I have a second?
Second,
We have a motion, we have a second, set a date to review the job descriptions and revise them, so.
I was gonna say anything, I work in Hamilton, so, and I'm there from 8 until 5. I don't get home till 5:30, 5:45, so anytime after that would be good.
And that would be one that you guys wouldn't have to do, correct? Janelle?
Would not have to be.
If we do schedule it during 8 to 5, I would need at least a week before we schedule one so I can get time off. So that's an option too.
How's, obviously, we've got the other thing that we have tabled with the job descriptions. Is that something that we could tie into that, or?
You sure can, it sure be.
So,
That'd be a perfect time to work it in.
so how far notice do you need?
For a CAL meeting,
so-
72 hours is fine.
So if
you
we
guys
did-
decided tonight to be posted tomorrow.
We haven't done it so long, so it's probably gonna take a while for going through all the job descriptions.
So
We don't
why
have to
can't,
do it in one meeting. We
why
can have
can't
one
we do
meeting.
next week is too soon for you?
Oh.
What is,
Town hall is closed on Monday.
okay, what about a Tuesday, would you do a Tuesday or Wednesday? Is it something that's going on that would,
There's no airport meeting this month, there's no other board meetings this month, so that way it's pretty clear, it's open.
The 17th, I'm open all day because Jim has an appointment, but I would have to have Liberty our dog. So, during the day. I'm sorry.
So you're thinking of, you guys are thinking maybe proposing something more in the late afternoon instead of into the evening, is that what you guys are thinking?
Yeah, so it's easier for the employees. Late afternoon on the 18th, anytime, probably after 2, because I have another board meeting that day that starts at noon, usually lasts 2.5 hours.
so what if we figure on the 18th at 3 o'clock?
Okay?
Mr. Smith?
Am I good with that, Kathy? Yeah, I'm good with it.
So January 18th at 3, is that what you just proposed? So if you want to make that into a part of your motion? Yeah.
January 18th, what time?
Okay,
3 p.m.
3 p.m.?
Yes, I have another board meeting that day.
so we're gonna do, make a motion to schedule a CAL meeting on January 18th at 3 PM to review job descriptions.
That's correct.
And that will still include some of the departments, so they can be here as well.
Yeah.
And not have to.
That's what we're working.
Sorry, Jeff.
Do we have any comments from the public on this? Mr. Motley?
Also, a 3 o'clock CAL meeting makes it hard for individuals and members of the community to attend if they have a job. Just say.
Yeah, I would say at a town meeting that the public usually doesn't weigh it anyway. It's an open discussion between the council and the staff.
Mhm.
That's one of the meetings that the public, they can come and attend and sit, but they really, if I remember right, they really don't.
Not at a CAL meeting, it's a discussion.
Yeah, they don't discuss.
But there's no, we're not making decisions, Jeff.
Yeah.
There's no decision.
No.
You cannot make a decision. You can,
But if he has to take time off work, then he loses salary. I mean, I'm just saying.
okay, well, let me rephrase that then. Make everybody happy. Is 6 o'clock okay?
Yeah, I can make
6 o'clock okay?
It's your meeting.
I'm withdrawing my motion that I just placed and rescheduled the CAL meeting date and time for January 18th at 6 PM. Is that better? You okay with that?
You need to make a motion to withdraw it, and you have to have a second on the vote.
You never voted on it.
No, there has not
Oh,
been.
there wasn't a vote?
There was no vote.
Oh, okay.
No, we're okay there.
We're okay. So we have a motion, we have a second one.
Yes.
Second.
Second, 6 o'clock, January 18th?
January 18th at 6 PM.
Okay. Any comments from the public on that? From the council, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown? Aye. And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Board reports. You have any town council comments? None?
None?
Okay. Executive report. Water meters. We have ongoing issues with our water meters that are coming up with 0 meetings. We had a meeting this past Tuesday with Public Works to come up with a plan to go out and re-read them. It's either by getting hold of the homeowners to say we need to read your meter manually, because for some reason, when they're going down the street, we're not picking them up at all. Or the battery's dead then, or they need to be changed. We have contacted Harmony. And Harmony basically told us that this is the issue that needs to be done. They recommended Cody or whoever reads the meters to change their routes, to go around. so we can get a better idea, because we're losing money on this. We're at 150 to 180 unread meters a month. This has been going on a long time. We just can't continue to do it. We have to nip it in the bud. It's a high priority of mine, and it has to be done. I had a meeting Tuesday with the school superintendent, Dave Dennis, regarding our SRO officer and the status of Officer Cassie, who's in the academy. And I discussed with him that I want to make sure that we're on the up and up, that we're actively seeking a police chief, which we are. We have one application back from a retired police officer chief in New York City. And we're still seeking, we have a bunch of them out there, and hopefully they'll come back. I will say that a good thing, when Gina put all our CDs and everything into that 4 point whatever,
The CDs into an investment account that's earning 4% interest.
yes, we found money with that interest coming back. We found enough money to go from a 30-year to a 20-year retirement for our police officers, which as Steve knows is big. It's about $8,000, and we're drawing that up now, and that should be on the February meeting. And we're also looking at, we think we found enough money, we're still looking there, to give our police officers a raise, which is a pretty big deal there too, because we have 2 police officers that have put their applications in Hamilton. No fault of theirs, they need to feed their family. And a small town like this, we all know, we've been here, Stacy and I have been here forever. We know that it's a revolving door. And if you give them uniforms, you give them boots, you give them guns, you give them everything, you send them to the academy, they come back, they work 6 months and they're out of here. So we wasted all that money. It's been going on for 30 years, not just this town, all small towns. So we're trying to put a finger in that dike to see if we can't keep our officers, because they're very popular. When I went and spoke with the superintendent, he mentioned how popular Cassie was. She's like one of the, she's only 4 or 5 years removed from high school, but she's built that trust already with all the students. And that's big, as we all know, when it comes to a police officer building trust. And Trevor, he was up there the other day, I talked to him, he's taken her place. They all like him. Those are 2 examples of officers that they were holdovers from MAC, because we all know what MAC was here. They're bringing MAC's guidance, MAC's expertise with them, and that builds a trust within the community. So we really hope we can keep those people. Gina and I and Steve had a meeting today at 2:30 with Eli Malloy of HDR to discuss the breakdown of the Mission Street water main project, because as you know, we tabled that, sent it back to have it rebid, because the bids have to be open in front of the council, and they sent an award letter. They didn't know. So I had them say I wanted to rebid. So today we had a meeting with Eli, and Eli, we're going to put it back out for bids, and it's just going to be a Mission Street project only. It won't be mine or the other ones tied to it, because we know we have enough money for that, and we'll have money left over. And we're gonna advertise the 22nd, Monday. The bids are due on the 22nd of February, which they'll come in. And then that night of the February meeting, we'll open those bids in front of the council. And then we discussed having them come back at the March meeting after they get approved. Then we'll give it the blessing back to HDR. They looked it all over and said, yes, it was good, just like we did on Spring Street. Brings it back, we approve it. And Janelle brought up a good point earlier tonight where she said, we could have a special meeting where we didn't have to wait that long for the project to get going. So we could have a meeting like the 29th or whatever, next month, February. And we could by then they'll have it back, they can approve it, and they can get the work going. And I also, one last thing, I'd like to mention that, again, that my old council seat still hasn't been filled. We have no application for that. That's actually kind of sad. You know, that some of these younger ones or anybody won't step up to serve the town. And it's open until the 16th. If that's not filled, then we'll have to just keep re-advertising until we get somebody here. So it would be nice to get some new faces. So with that, I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll move that we adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
So, we're on the